Welcome to Rising Phoenix Oracle. I'm T, the Oracle. Trying something new tonight. Um, I will not be on camera. Just kind of wanted to talk off camera, okay? As you can see by the title, it's about spiritual awakening. Um, and in spiritual awakening, dealing with the imbalance that it may cause. Um, it may cause you a great imbalance. You know, you're already juggling being a mother, um, a partner, a wife, in a relationship for, a period of time and just trying to hold everyone else together. Everyone else takes precedence normally over you. If you're a good mother, right, you want to make sure that all that you do is deeply dedicated to your family and your children and making sure that everyone's needs are met. Make sure that everyone is safe, everyone is provided for, everyone is protected. Um, Speaking from experience, I understand that. And one thing that I've learned over the years, in being a wife and a mother and learning how to balance that out, um, there's no manual for that. There's no manual for um, how to be a mother. There are books out there. You can read certain books. Um, there's a lot of things that you can do. However, um, nothing beats experience. So you can read books all day long about how to be a perfect spouse, how to be a perfect mother, how to recognize certain cues, and just whatever. Nothing beats experience, okay? You're not going to be able to learn how to be a mother or how to be a wife in a book. It takes life experience. And from my experience, I understand, me being a Scorpio and me being a very analytical person, me being the type of person who likes to be, um, me who likes to be a person who, hi, Alan and Gail. I'm the type of person who, if I'm focused in on something, I want to be the best at what I do. I'm going to hone in on it. Hey, Jaden. I am going to make sure that I do everything the best of my ability. Hey, says a fan. And one thing about that is people who are perfectionists, people who like to do things to a T, people who don't like to mess up, it can become very strenuous. It can become very, what should I say, very difficult, you know, in dealing with relationships and finding the balance, okay? Um, oh gosh, the trolls are out. This is ridiculous. The trolls are out. All right. One thing that I've noticed is that in a relationship, it's easy to lose yourself. And this is for someone who is deeply rooted, someone who is confident, someone who is very secure in themselves. Sometimes you still may get lost. You still get lost in a role. You can get lost in your quote unquote duties or your responsibilities, or you become what you do. Okay? You become what you do. And so, in becoming what you do, you define yourself and your worth based on the work that you put in. instead of who you are as an individual. Okay? My goodness, I have never seen this many trolls ever. Almost want to turn the chat off. It's ridiculous. But, anyways, now just imagine being in a relationship and just giving your all, giving your whole energy, your mind, your time, everything to that relationship. And then you get to a point, for some type of reason, you had some type of spiritual awakening. Okay? And this could be, a spiritual awakening can be defined in many different ways. Um, you may be introduced to some new information that you weren't privy to before. You may find a whole nother spiritual aspect of life in itself and understanding the all and the universe, you know. And it's just eye-opening and awakening to you. And sometimes when people have that spiritual awakening, it knocks them off their feet, okay? It knocks them, it knocks their foundation, right? And what happens when your foundation is faulty? There starts there starts to be cracks in the foundation, and then it becomes unleveled, right? And that's what happens to you when you learn some information. Just imagine living your life based on some information that you've known for 20, 30, 40 years, ever since you were a child. And then you learn something new that makes sense to you and that you now believe, but it's totally different from what you knew before. That can really shake you to the core. So imagine going through a spiritual awakening, and then on top of that, you're dealing with the different transitional periods of a relationship and being a mother as well. Okay? That's a lot of stress. And sometimes a lot of people, they tend to break, you know? They can't deal with it. They don't understand how to deal with it. And basically what I'm here to say is, briefly, is that you're not alone. Okay? So understand that, more importantly, above all, you're not alone. A lot of times when mothers and spouses, they go through different changes in their lives, even hormonal changes, they feel as if they're alone, that no one else is going through this, or they may be ashamed to speak with someone and let them know the differences that they're going through mentally and emotionally and physically. You are not alone. And it's okay to reach out and find support, or a support group, or, you know, find those group of people, those group of women, or that tribe who understands you, who understand what you're going through, and who have successfully moved from that point. Okay? It's very important not to close down and close in on yourself and to isolate yourself, because that's the point where you can go into deep depression, you can go into, you know, negative thoughts, you know, and just different things like that. And that's not where you should be, okay? And definitely through experience, you do get to a point in your life where you kind of want to close in, you want to isolate yourself, and you just want to be to yourself. And that's understandable. But you have to understand why you've gotten to that point. Is it because you're feeling a certain way? Is it because you're feeling depressed? Or is it because you want to isolate yourself to go into another level of learning and growing? So it's just something I wanted to briefly just speak about. It was just something on my mind. There were so many different points that I wanted to hit on that. And I definitely got thrown off by all of the trolls in the chat. Normally I'm doing readings. It's easier for me to kind of like, monitor the chat or have moderators monitor the chat and move forward. But since it's nighttime and I'm actually paying full attention to the chat, it's a little bit distracting, right? But I guess the overall, hey Clayton, thank you so much for subscribing. The overall idea that I want to express or I want to convey, to you is the fact that, you know, at some point in time, the scales will balance. At some point in time, you will feel off balance. Sometimes you have to gain your footing. You have to regain your footing again. Like I said before, some things and situations that you go through, your relationships, whatever it is, it could knock you off your feet and you feel unbalanced and you're just walking around just feeling like almost like a zombie, almost like you just don't fit in, like you don't belong, you know? And that could be said, like I said, it can be attributed to a number of things. Definitely if you have a spiritual awakening, it can shake you to the core to the point where you do feel as if you don't fit in with anyone else. You know, People don't understand where you're coming from anymore, and sometimes you do separate yourself because you feel different from everyone else, you know. Um, and like I said, it sometimes it may feel weird just to be around people because they don't share the same thoughts as you or the same sentiments, or they don't understand where you're coming from. So you rather be alone than to be around people who don't understand you, who don't understand where you're coming from, right? And again, like I stated, that's understandable to isolate yourself during those times, but don't get to the point where you're isolated so much where you get to a point where you become depressed because you are isolated and you feel like you're isolated mainly because you don't find anyone who is on your same level or anyone who understands you. I'm still here. I'm just gathering my thoughts. Okay. What do you guys think about that? Just spiritual awakening and trying to balance home life, work life, relationships, and different things like that. That's a lot. It's a lot on your plate, especially as a woman. It's a lot on your plate. And I'm only speaking from a woman's point of view because I am a woman. And I feel as that, for women, we have a lot on our plate. We 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 play many different roles, you know. Some mothers are providers, they're protectors, they're nurturers, they're a cook, they're an accountant, they're a mediator, they're a teacher. There's so many different levels. They're a housekeeper, they're a nurse. It's so many different hats that you have to put on in dealing with family and, your children and your relationship. And then once you wear all of those hats, where's the time for yourself? Where's the time to pour back into yourself? And I know it may be cliche and you hear, well, you have to make time for yourself and, you have to make sure, yeah, people say that and you listen and you're like, yeah, I want to or I'll try. But it's very difficult to do so, especially in today's time where time seems like it moves so fast that there's not enough time. There's not enough time in the day to complete all of the tasks that we have on our plate and then get enough rest to be able to recharge for the next day. Extremely difficult. But it can be done. So I just want to encourage you guys, you know, to stay the course, to be strong, to hang in there, to get the support that you need, to reach out to those who are there, who can assist, a shoulder to lean on, you know. Sometimes you may need a shoulder to cry on, someone to bounce ideas off, someone that will listen to you release some of your fears or anger or stress or whatever it is. We all need that at some point in time, you know. And the most important thing that you can do, I'm going to leave you with this. The most important thing that you can do is make sure that you're okay. That's the most important thing that you can do, is to make sure that you're okay. Above all. Because if you're not okay, you cannot properly give to others. Whether it's your child, whether it's your spouse, whether it's at work. Take care of self first. And then the rest will follow. So mind, body, and soul. Spiritually, mentally, and physically. Take care of yourself. Peace.